XRP Launchpad SET. Folks, what a week it has been, taking this party to the Bitcoin Vegas conference, following up with the XRP Las Vegas conference, taking us into a market pullback, which is now being beaten up even worse, with President Trump and Elon Musk now feuding online here all day today. The black swan that nobody saw coming, President Trump and Elon Musk. I guess they're no longer friends. Or are we watching some actors and all the world as a stage? You guys let me know in the comments down below. It's quite interesting to see who's now calling for this big, beautiful bill to be killed and for a list to be released. I can't say who. Stay locked in with us, guys. Full update, current events, financial markets, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I'm your host, Zach Rector, and I greatly appreciate your support. We had an absolute blast down in XRP Las Vegas. Let me tell you what. The big takeaway, we are fully activated with Wall Street coming in with the inflows, which really haven't even ramped up yet. The spot ETFs are not live. As soon as they go live, it is game on. We combine that with the fact that the XRP Ripple versus SEC lawsuit will officially come to an end this year. And in fact, we're down to, I think, 12, maybe 20. I think it's like a couple weeks here to go until we're due for the next court case update. And we're waiting for this staged lawsuit to end. Speaking of all the world's a stage, this staged lawsuit finally coming to an end. You combine this with XRP season, which is now here. I am telling you, a lot of you guys might not understand because you're not in the degen culture, and I'm not telling you to go there. You don't need to be a degen to have a happy life. Some people like to be degens. The point being why I've been talking about the degens and joking about these degens, and why I went to the Sigma after party at the Hard Rock so I could talk crap to the degens about their crap coins, is because they come in with activity. They come in with wallets that lock up XRP. They come in with transactions that burn XRP. They bring their buddies. Are the bags as big as Wall Street? Absolutely not. But the activity is drastically much more volume and activity coming from these degens and these activities. While at the same time, we come in with big numbers. Big numbers. Wholesale payments has always been the focus of Ripple. We're now seeing their plan come full circle. You know, pun intended, with Circle now going public here today, much less than the rumors that were going out about Brad and Ripple bidding up Circle against Coinbase, this bidding war. And right from the get-go, I felt like that was fishy. I said, there's no way Coinbase is a legitimate buyer. They're not in a position where they need to buy because they already get 50% of the top line revenue from Circle. So half of the top line revenue that Circle makes goes directly to Coinbase. Hell of a deal. And so Coinbase, they were never a serious buyer. Now, is Ripple a serious buyer? Brad Garlinghouse did not deny that they were at the table or maybe putting in some offers for Circle, but he did deny that it was a $20 billion offer with his segment with Chris Brummer there at XRP Las Vegas. Now, key takeaways, once again, is that this is all converging in our ecosystem right now. Just on the baseline, the currency of this ledger, XRP, it is destroying the returns of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB all combined. I don't think that folks are contextualizing this because they look, oh, XRP's been down since I bought in. If you bought in over $2 and you got some new people freaking out, right? The reason why I titled this episode XRP Launchpad SET is because $2 is the new Launchpad. And every time we go down to the launch pad, you should be thanking God, Elon, Trump, or whoever the heck you want to thank or believe in. I'm not going to tell you what to do or give you financial advice, but just like the same folks that doubted us when we were back at the 50 cent range for years. And now we got folks telling us that we're wrong about the $2 launch pad. No, by the grace of God or some sort of higher power, you were given another opportunity to pick up $2 XRP again. Did you take advantage of it? And I'm speaking mostly to the new people, of course. For us that have been here, we sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, what was the black swan of choice? What's the next stage act to be played? Elon Musk, President Trump, now they're not buddy buddies. If you believe that, Our good friend Digital Asset Investor might have a couple igloos in South Georgia for you, not just one. He might have 589 igloos. Maybe not 589, maybe 17 igloos for you in South Georgia. Pleasure to see DAI, Brad Kimes, did it again. Knocked that sucker straight out of the park again. Because what Brad's now allowing is these degens to come in, bring in that activity, tell us what they're building. And really the builders, that's what it's all about. We need the activity to support our builders. More functionality being brought to the XRP ledger. It's XRP DeFi season. For those that understand how to be your own bank, cut out all middlemen and interact, have a relationship, a nice, deep relationship with the XRP ledger, right? We're building out these deep public pools of liquidity. David Schwartz putting it all together with his segment with Vet. That was a good one. And I asked Sal Gaberti, CEO of Tucreum, directly. JP Morgan predicts 4 to 8 billion inflows into the XRP ETFs. Is that conservative? Is that too much? Not enough? You know, he says, yeah, more. And very tactical in his approach. You know, he's not going to come out and give a prediction, but he said, yeah, I think that that's conservative. And the big takeaway for me in speaking with Sal is that he's actively trying to get marketing material from Ripple to sell XRP. And this, you know, my opening line was joking about me saying that the suits are going to show up with slideshow presentations and how Sal showed up in a suit. He doesn't have a slideshow presentation, but we're going to get the update from him. This guy is ready to sell this thing for us. Not me and you, Joe Blow, telling our buddies over a beer at the bonfire. No. Wall Street selling it to each other so that they can then turn around and sell it. And basically, they're competing to sell it to us. And Sal, the first to market with a 2x long. And he told me the story about trying to get, he was actually going to do 1x long, 1x short. Because I was joking with him about he's not allowed to do an XRP short ETF. He's not allowed to. Now, I did see that a super chat came in, and so I'm going to check on that real quick just before we get started here. Big update tonight. So much to catch up on. I still feel like I haven't had enough time to recap XRP Las Vegas. I took a family trip down to Seattle, so we're just getting caught back up to speed here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you haven't already, let's make sure we like this video. If you're new here, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we're going to run it up tonight. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's legend. You already know it's legend. Zbec dip buying fund. I think some big things are going to happen in the next several months. That's from Legend. And he's one of the few legends in our community that I know made a little baggie off the Zbec. And the great thing too, you know, I was going to do a Zbec update because, yeah, I talked to everybody. Everybody made a boatload of money. But a lot of these guys that I'm talking to are going to hold bags. They're still going to hold on to their Zbec. Like, this is not like a pump and dump scheme where it's like, hey, everybody, we're all going to buy into Zbec, get in and get out. No, there's a lot of people that are holding on to their bags. In fact, I didn't realize how quickly this thing was going to pump. I underestimated it, you know, and so Zbec already hitting my first target, which was half a penny, and it went all the way up to, I think, 0.007, right? And so it's pulled back, healthy pullback, a lot of people in profit, right? As soon as, obviously, everybody's in profit when an asset goes to a new all-time high, essentially. So, you know, some profit taking happens, a little bit of a pullback. But Legend, I think that a lot of folks are surprised to see Zbec just keeps on dropping news. They just made another acquisition today. They just had another partnership announced yesterday. They're talking about this airdrop that they're going to do on Uphold. I had my Zbec on Caleb and Brown, but I know, you know, some folks are preparing on Uphold for whatever that airdrop's going to be. We'll continue to watch it. But like I said, Zbec has enough of a narrative to catch motion and for people to be able to sell it. For, you know, legitimate people that believe in its utility, that believe in the team. I wish I could believe in the team more. They don't show enough face. They don't show up enough. We need to see more. The tokenomics worries me. I pointed out the red flags, but sure enough, the sucker's still pumped. And this is where we've been at, why I titled the episode earlier today, Capturing Profits Before XRP Pump. We're not just sitting idle this bull run. Back in 2021, I was just in XRP, and I was not doing anything else. I was just focused on my business and stacking XRP, which I actually think was a good spot to be in. I think that many folks find themselves in a similar position where when you're still accumulating your bag, should you be trying to be the most sophisticated trader, playing around with all these things and DeFi and all this? Or should you just be focused on, let me stack as much cash as possible so I can slap it down into my accounts here and stack this crypto as much as possible? We just need to get bigger bags, right? And so I was focused on my business and everything back then during the 2021 bull run, watching XRP go. And just like all of us, we thought XRP was going to go a lot higher than it did, stopping at $2, right? This time around, well, we're prepared for XRP to go higher than $2. We already did, right? Up to 340 with still so much momentum behind us, but we're also in other plays. That's the beauty of this opportunity. Like I said, it's a blessing now. Every time we go back to the Launchpad, which now is $2, $2 is the new Launchpad. And every time we go back to that level, I think that people are going to be kicking themselves for not scooping up the dip on that. For those that are still trying to acquire XRP, for those of us that have acquired XRP, we're making new plays, Zbec and others, and we roll it back into XRP most of the time, don't we? Now, somebody said, every time Zach shaves, the market drops. My apologies. My apologies. I had to shave it. I had to hack it off. Petro Pro, thank you for the 2 spot. What the heck is going on with Elon? XRP to 100. This is the next part of the act, in my opinion. If you really want my answer, this is the next part of the act that gets played out on the world stage. What have I been saying since I started putting out content back in 2021? Let all truth be revealed. That's what I've been preaching and saying for 4 years now. Let all truth be revealed. If that exposes Trump, sure. Is Trump there? Why is Trump in there? What was Trump doing? Was he helping prosecution maybe? Let's find out. Let's find out. Because we can speculate till the sun comes up tomorrow, but until we actually see this come out. But I feel like this is the accelerant. This is the accelerant. We got to get right on into this news, though. But we got one more super chat from XRP Down Under. Huge shout out to the Aussies. I did get to meet some crazy Aussies. I don't know how we let you in. You guys were able to make it in somehow. Trump hasn't added you to his list, but the Aussies were let in. Got to see my good friends Jake and Jim from Caleb and Brown. Great guys. Good drinks. Went out to dinner with Jim too. Good guys. XRP Down Under says, hi, Zach. Love your work, bro. Long-time outlook for Zbec. Top levels, a penny. Half a penny to a penny were my targets. We already blew through half a penny. So I still think it's possible for it to hit up to a penny. And I think that I'm being very conservative. I think it could go a lot higher. And the things that it would take is making sure that the tokenomics and the dilution doesn't wreck us, that basically whales don't show up and dump, because the supply and circulating supply is very concentrated if you look into the wallets. And if you look into the tokenomics over the next period till March 2026, the inflation's about 2 billion Zbec per month, takes the total supply to about 94 billion. I covered all this in the deep dive, but it's good for the new people here to give you the quick breakdown. So the big red flags of the tokenomics, as long as that Zbec gets locked up or used wisely and not dumped on the market, will be good. That's a big what if. It's a big red flag. The other one is the team. We need to see more. And that's from 99% of all crypto projects, is we need to see more from the team. I mean, I'd even like to see more from Ripple. I know that Ripple is pretty careful in how they approach it, but I would like to see more from all these companies, but especially Zbec. Easily to a penny, easily much higher, as long as they don't mess it up. If they're for real. That's yet to be seen. Now, so much to catch up on. Let's get right on into the update, guys. This is breaking news. Russia has launched ballistic missiles and drones towards Ukraine from multiple directions. These are airstrikes on Kiev that are hitting right now. Right now. Okay? We're going to have to watch this here very closely because it looks like a lot is breaking. Right. And part of this whole thing with Trump and Elon makes me feel like, what are they trying to keep us distracted from? And every time it's look over here while they got something else cooking. And this time what they have cooking is literally the next escalation in World War III. And that's what I was talking about. We're running through all these different black swan scenarios. At the end of the day, I've always said, you prepare the same way no matter what the black swan's going to be in most instances. Right? The same supplies, the same strategy, the same plan, the same blackout barter that you're going to acquire, the same skills that you're going to acquire, all are going to get you through whatever the black swan may be, as long as you're prepared. Cash, metals, food, essentials, shelter and safety. And so did we expect it to be Elon Musk and Trump? And that's not even really the black swan, but it appears that this is the bomb being dropped, metaphorically speaking, while simultaneously in the kinetic war. Remember, this is a multi-dimensional war being fought out right here. And so in the cyberspace, you're seeing the cyber attacks continue. You're seeing in the battlefield in Ukraine, Russia, that continues. Looks like we're close to peace in the Middle East, but we were close to peace in Ukraine, Russia. We were very close to a deal being done. And then who shows up? Lindsey Graham. Get him out of here. That's all I got to say to that. Lindsey Graham, see you later. You're fired. You're gone. Shows up in Ukraine, and sure enough, 24 hours later, we have the next level of escalation. And now we have a tit for tat, and it looks like it's really heating up at this point. So we're going to continue to watch that. I'm going to slide on over to the markets real quick, guys. Bitcoin did drop all the way down here to 100,500, I should say. Back up to 1015 right now as we record this update. XRP back into my purple box. I dropped this purple box this morning. Already went into it just about 3-4 hours after I shared this update with my Discord group. Then we pierced right on into it. And so we already backtested to about 206 for XRP. Big backtest. Now, while this backtest was happening, the XRP futures market on Coinbase was shut down. So what I did, and I already updated my Discord on this, is I queued up an order for when the market opened back up at 203. So I'm still holding that right now because the market opened back up and we were at like 209. The futures was at like 212 or something like that. The futures close every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. Now here soon, Coinbase will have 24/7 futures trading for XRP and Solana, along with Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are already live 24/7. But when the market was closed, I placed my order for 203, but then I also told my Discord group, hey guys, I'm going to be buying the dip here as soon as the market opens back up. I'm going to be entering back into an XRP long. And so I didn't just buy one, I bought 2 contracts for the XRP long, right? So I think I'm still at about 2.55x leverage. These are very low leverage positions, and I don't get liquidated till we go back down to like $1.50 or something like that. $1.50. So, and that's before my order executes for buying at 203, which would drop my my margin level, my liquidation level, I should say, would drop even lower if I get my entry at 203. So I already bought the dip on the XRP futures. I closed out 2 entries that I had for the May contract. These contracts close every month on the last day. So those automatically closed for me. I didn't roll them over, closed both those in profit. And I was just waiting to see this pullback, which I warned about in this morning's update that, you know, we're going to finish up this correction. Didn't know that we were going to get smacked up like this. But, you know, obviously we see what's fueling that. And so when the futures market opened back up, I bought 2 more XRP long contracts, and I have a backstop at 203 right now. And I always keep extra liquidity on the sideline so I can't get margin called. With this position being at such low levels of margin, 2x, XRP has to go back below $1.50 for me to be liquidated. I'm breaking this down for the new people here who are trying to wonder, you know, what the heck am I doing? It's actually not that complex, but it does take a little bit of time and understanding for the new people that have no exposure to futures markets and how they work. Before this, I traded perpetual futures, so it's a little bit different for me to be trading monthly contracts that expire at the end of the month. But Coinbase does give you the ability to close them over and basically close them out and roll them over to the new month. But here's the XRP futures contract for June. Here's the chart. Big red day today. And like I said, it only went down to 209 on the XRP futures contract, which is fascinating, right? Because when you look at the spot market for XRP, it went all the way down to 206 here on KuCoin. Now, what I'd been seeing in the past was the futures market's been trading at a discount lower than spot when we're falling down. And then when we're pumping, it's trading at a premium higher than the spot market. And so that's why I set that order down at 203, is because I'm thinking, well, if the market opens back up, XRP is already down at 206. That futures contract might get beat up and go down even lower than that. My order gets filled at 203. And so I sneak that order in right above $2. Never placing these orders on rounded off numbers, really. Right. And so I'm in an XRP long. I just dropped an update just a couple hours ago. It's titled XRP Long Activated. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. With all of this taking place, I am not going to get shaken out. When we look back at what took place in March of 2020, it made a lot of people think that it was the end of the world, and people panicked and they didn't take action. That's not going to be a mistake that I make again, even though I thought, hey, maybe this is the big one in 2020. Hey, shoot. Okay. Guess this is how we're going to do it. We survived. And very quickly into that simulation event, I started to just keep moving forward. And that's what we're going to do again, right? We've acknowledged how big these problems are. So is President Trump, which is why it's so interesting to see this chess that's being played out right now with this big, beautiful bill that would add over $4 trillion to our deficit. We already are running $36 trillion in debt. Our debt chart looks like a meme coin, for crying out loud. But yet, what can we do? Well, we can pray, and we can also take massive action. And in fact, if you took that massive action in 2020, we saw how well that paid out for you. In fact, my mentor, Dan Pena, always tells me, that this is our time. This is our time. Run towards the gunfire and take out anything in your way is what I've been taught. And that's what we're going to do. I told you guys that I'd be buying the dip on the aliens. So we still haven't had the alien black swan yet. But when the aliens show up, I'm going to be buying that dip. Are you guys going to be buying the alien dip? Let me know in the chat. And let's take a sip of our adult beverage. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. How are we doing tonight? How are we doing, chat? Let's get you guys caught up to speed here. We got some runners. I'm looking at the Joey meme coin. It's running right now too. But guys, let's get to some serious crypto business. Check it out. The markup for the Crypto Market Structure Bill Clarity Act is set for Tuesday, June 10th at 10 a.m. Eastern by the House Committee on Financial Services. This is from Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, that the stablecoins are going to unlock a $2 trillion demand for US dollars. This is absolutely necessary, right? Like we're so far past the point of stablecoin legislation, this being a matter of national security, and our dollar as we know it, being cooked essentially. And so they're saying that they're not going to default. Okay. So there's a couple things that we can do. We can inflate the currency, and we also can drive demand through the stablecoin. We also can do revaluations, which I do think that a part of that plays in down the road as well. In fact, I should be very clear, actually, in regards to revaluation, that's happening right now. You want to see some examples of that? Let's take a look at our silver chart. How about that one? Look at silver here. I'm going to look at silver just on the, let's go all time on the silver. What the heck? Look at this. Up over $36 per ounce right now on silver, breaking out. And I said on the update earlier that I wanted to see a clear hold close above $35 per ounce, and then we can start moving higher. And it's no man's land between here and 50. I mean, it really is. There's not much resistance on the way to the previous all-time high of 50. Now, is this where I'm making all my money at? No. But this is blackout barter. This is systems go down. This is the hedge defense against inflation. And the reason why we love to have this is that defensive measure allows us to be so aggressive on offense. My old basketball coach used to, we were taught, the best offense is a good defense. Basically, you make the opponent work so hard while they're on offense, right? They have to work for everything, for every screen, every inch they're trying to gain. You make them work hard. The best offense is a good defense. And I say, let's have a defense so that we can assault on offense. And I'm talking. An example of that is trading a meme coin during the chaos around us. You want to talk about how ridiculous our reality is? Here's a prime example right here. Richest man in the world fighting with the most powerful man in the world. Global trade war. And Coinbase, what's Coinbase's update? Assets added to the roadmap today, Altcoin. This is our reality. You can't make this stuff up, folks. And let the masses be distracted by Mickey Mouse coin, by playing around with it. You got a lot of folks that are going to miss out on some good utility assets because they don't have utility before they go play around at the casino. It's like not having your house in order before you go to Las Vegas. Same thing. Not having utility before you go play around with the degens and try to flip some memes is like not having your house in order, not having a job, but taking your last $50 to the casino. Some people take their last 500, some people take their last 5,000. Some people have 50,000 or $1 million tied up in memes. I met one of these degens. I'm not going to say how much. He had a generational wealth size bag of XRP times 20, 50 that he made off of meme coins. I can't say the amount. You wouldn't believe it. All from memes. And I said, you son of a gun. I said, you're the one that's probably been taking my XRP, haven't you? And he said, yeah, I might have, yeah. And that's where I had fun with the degens. And that's where I have fun in that little subculture, is that there's a respect of, in the XRP community at least, we don't outright have scams going. You know, we avoid and call out all the scams. Just outright scams, we call those out. But PvPing on the meme coins, we understand. You know, I was joking with these guys. I say, it's all love because I'm gambling. I understand. It's a risk, right? You know, I snipe you, you snipe me, right? But at the end of the day, we have XRP that stays within our ecosystem. And as long as we keep that XRP within our ecosystem, we got activity, we got motion. And that is bullish, and that drives demand for XRP, right? And so here we are trying to navigate this crisis. And this is the crazy thing to me, is that Coinbase literally has coins like Altcoin listed before they have good assets like a Zbec or even a DAG. Maybe DAG's on Coinbase now. See, I bought DAG on Uphold. I don't know. I don't think, no, DAG isn't on Coinbase, right? But it's a prime example. Coinbase doesn't have some of the legitimate utility assets listed, but they got a bunch of crap, right? Now, continuing on here, let's take a look at some of our other updates. Yeah, the big one is Circle went public today. That price shot up over $100 per share. I don't know where it finished the day off at. Let me take a quick look. Let's go to our stock charts. There's Circle. It closed off the day at 83. Closed off the day here at 83. CRCL is the new ticker. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. Well, and actually this reminds me, let me go into an update on Link2. Because some people have Circle equity through Link2. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments down below. I believe that it's about 90 days. 90 days is the lockup period for those who already have shares of Circle. So if you have pre-IPO, you go through a lockup period. I believe it's 90 days, but can somebody in the chat correct me if I'm wrong? But the point being, what I worry about here is that by the time folks get access to that private equity, that the price of Circle is going to be coming back down, right? I mean, typically we see this when these companies go public. The whole reason to go public is to get exit liquidity from the public. It's just, that's what it is. Like, we can try to fluff it up and spruce it up as much as we want. That's why you take your company public. You take your company public to pump it up and to be able to extract as much value for your shares. That's why you do it. It opens up your pool of potential buyers. And especially in this market too, with so much retail access to the stock market and gambling at your fingertips, it bids these suckers up. But what we typically see is these IPOs go up and then they do dump. 180 days. So it's 180 days of a lockup period. Wow. That's quite some time. I wanted to talk about Link2 though. I didn't get to catch all of some of the best segments that happened, and Link2 was one of them. I couldn't believe that the CEO of Link2 was actually going to show up, right? I didn't believe it. And then when I found out that John Deaton was going to get to sit down up there with them, I was like, oh boy, what are we getting ourselves into? And John did not disappoint. I want to give a huge shout out and credit to John Deaton for how he pressed Dan, the CEO of Link2. It's very clear that John got tied up in this as well. I think that he said he has almost $500,000 tied up in Link2 investments. John Deaton is right there with us in this case, just like he was with the XRP lawsuit. And I finally did get an opportunity to meet John very briefly in the green room behind the stage. I very briefly got to meet John finally. Thanked him for his service as a Marine, and I thanked him for his service for the community. And I didn't really get to talk with him much other than that, regrettably. I was getting ready to go up with Sal. But God bless John Deaton for how he did press Dan. And my big takeaway, honestly, is that it looks like, yeah, they tripped up some of the securities laws, but they're not dealing with Gary Gensler. They're not dealing with a vindictive SEC bureaucracy beast that is out to attack. What they did was get access to non-accredited people for great investment opportunities like a Circle, like a Ripple, like others. Is what they did wrong? No. At least as far as getting access and maybe tripping up some of the securities offerings, the laws when it comes to 506Bs and how those funds are raised. It is likely that some of that was tripped up. Was it from a place of good intention? Yes. The part that gets shady is markups and different things. But you have to understand that when you go to the private market, only the participants within the private market are going to determine what the value of that stock is going to be at. This is not a public company. So the amount of buyers and sellers that you have for these, private shares is a very limited pool. And you have players like Link2 that were helping create those markets. Somebody had to do it. Now, the levels at which, equity could have been marked up, I don't know. I can't speak to that. I haven't seen it. But as far as tripping up some of the laws when it comes to 506Bs and how that was offered, sure. But are we dealing with an SEC that's out to kill innovation and capitalists and entrepreneurs that are trying to provide more opportunities in a level playing field? No. So the good news is that I have a feeling that they're going to be able to make it out of this, because I think that this new SEC is going to be willing to deal. Now, the big problem is if they do have to pay a slap on the wrist, is making sure that they have that capital. I think that they're going to make it out. At worst, they pay a slap on the wrist fine from the SEC, where the SEC says, yep, you guys tripped this up, but here's how you amend it. Here's how you amend it and fix it, and you're good to go. I think that that's very likely going to be the outcome. Can they pay the slap on the wrist fine? That's the big question. If they can, I think my gut feeling is that they get through this. And I'm not saying that based off of, I don't know who Dan and this new guy is and the new people coming in. The folks from Link2 seemed, like they had the best intentions. I know that a lot of people have been trying to figure out how to get private equity to non-accredited. And to me, it's a noble cause. It really is. We shouldn't have the accreditation standard like we do. It should not be $1 million net worth or $200,000 in income per year. But if the assets are still safe and they're wrapped up in these Link2 SPVs and they can do a deal with the SEC, I actually do think that they're going to make it through. Now, the problem is going to be the lockup period on Circle. One, there's that lockup period. And then if the platform of Link2 is still not active here in 180 days, then you won't have access to that even after the lockup period expires. So that's my big concern right now for our community for the invested in Circle. is in the Circle investment in particular, that lockup period takes us out, 6 months basically. And if we don't have Link 2 back to active trading, now the CEO said 3 to 6 months, I think he would like to, he can't promise anything, but he didn't say that it's going to take a year to get the trading active on the platform again. But the fact that John Deaton was right there with them and asked them straight up, a lot of straight up questions on, are you guys just, basically vultures that are coming in here to strip out the assets, buy it for pennies on the dollar, and screw over the investors like me and all these people in the room? I mean, it's very respectable what John did by pressing him. He gave very political, very CEO, very my lawyer signed off on this responses. I don't know why we would expect anything different though. With a man in his position, with a company in that position. Oh, I thought I was coming into my dream job. If you haven't learned by now, we have to live by trust but verify. Or just don't even trust and just go straight to verification in this cryptocurrency space. And really for all of the financial markets and financial services and all the people that, are trying to get your money. Trust but verify. Or don't even worry about trusting, let's just go verify it. And it looks to be like the assets are secure in the SPVs. So it's just going to be a matter of the timing on getting you your Circle shares. Most people that are in the lockup period are probably going to miss the top anyways. So even if Link 2 was active, you're probably going to miss the top anyways, everybody that's in a lockup period on Circle. But that's part of the deal, right? That's part of the deal. We are getting shares transferred to our brokerage accounts on day 181, no questions asked. Scotty T, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. That needs to be the case. That's how it's supposed to work. And so a lot of people now, see that Circle's going public, and some of these people that first got into, it's their first time getting into private equity, not understanding how all this works. They're wondering, why haven't I got my Circle shares? Well, you have that lockup period. And after the lockup period, you have the option for it to arrive in your account. Or I think there's, you can sell it, whatever you want to do. Now, couple comments. I made this tweet earlier today. I feel like Circle just rushed to IPO, while meanwhile Ripple is in a position where they don't even need to IPO. And there's a big difference there. It's just like the tweet that I put out. Charlie Hoskins and some of these guys are talking about meeting with President Trump and going to the White House. There's other CEOs that are actually eating beef bourguignon with the president. Big difference. Talking about it, enjoying the beef bourguignon. In the case of going public, it felt to me like Circle rushed this. It felt to me like they made up the lie. It was a fib. That Coinbase was a legitimate buyer. It was, exaggerated the offer that Ripple presented to them. For all we know, Ripple could have only offered $4 billion. Right? Ripple could have offered $5 billion, $6 billion max. Right? Brad Garlinghouse denied a $20 billion offer, but he didn't deny that they, weren't maybe there. But that's the update that we got from Link 2. More to come. We're definitely going to have to follow up. And I got to speak with Rob Cunningham. I was on a panel with him at the XRP meetup that we had there at Club Ego. Our good friend Jay put that on. And I got to speak with Rob. I said, God bless you, brother. You're a real patriot for standing up and doing what he's trying to do. I saw him put out the press release. They're working with Steven Narioff. I finally got to meet Steven Narioff. Great guy. We got some good people that are fighting on our behalf, but there's a lot of vultures that are, we already got some shady characters that have showed up in the XRP ecosystem, but I want to sound the alarm for everybody. TikTok, you guys too. They are coming for your XRP like never before. Never before. The degens are going to try to get you to buy their crap coin. I know, because I went and hung out with them and had a good time with them. They're going to try to get you to buy their crap coin. There's all these new DeFi, quote unquote DeFi or CDeFi, all these new programs coming out too. The suits are now showing up, ready to take your XRP. And just today, JP Morgan reported that they will accept Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs as collateral for loans. JP Morgan showing up. So you are now going to have the ability to have JP Morgan, all of the other suits, all of the other banks, basically every other institution across the table from you, all competing for your business alongside DeFi protocols, alongside the AMM, and then we keep the degens isolated. We keep them contained. We got a couple babysitters for the degen. We keep them isolated. But they want your XRP too. Shout out to the degens. You guys know I got to give you crap. They want your XRP. And so I'm going to be putting out due diligence checklists for us to run through. Working with all of these DeFi, all these different offerings. Just like we did with, the private equity. I mean, look, PolySign's another example of one that went sideways already in our community. And so we're going to remain vigilant while also celebrating the fact that XRP season is here. That's where we need to be at. We want that activity. We want DeFi. We want this, but we also need to remain vigilant before we hand over the keys to the castle. Okay? Now, I wanted to check and see if I had a couple more things to cover here. Let me show you this chart real quick. This is a fun one. This is our Joey ticker. The Joey wallet's now live on Android, pumped up to a new all-time high. That was just a couple of days ago, right up here. And it just looks healthy. Just looks, it's such a clean chart and a clean narrative. Ran up quite a bit. I still think that it goes higher though. We already had the first milestone of 500 downloads for Android. That's nothing compared to where this goes, by the way. 500 downloads on Android. We're going to do 5 million. We're going to do 5 million on Android, 5 million on Apple. I mean, I'm saying this wallet, I think, is going to bring on another 10 million XRP addresses. Not 10 million new users, but 10 million new addresses. Because there will be degens that make 6 different wallets through Joey. Each wallet locks up XRP. And there's just going to be new people that get onboarded through this one. The main driver of this wallet is the ability to onboard in less than 30 seconds. It's massive. It's a really big deal. No relation to the meme coin. I'm just enjoying watching it pump. It's a good one. Yep, so we talked about the stablecoin bill next week. We have Zbec acquiring GateKnox, bringing native KYC, KYB, and AML directly into our infrastructure to enhance Zbec's AI existing real-time screening. There you go. 500 downloads so far on the Google Play Store. Love to see it. Apple on the way. We're going to do Apple on the way. Chad Steingraber finds out here. Circle CFO cashes out 37 million worth of shares on its IPO, 6 times more than the original disclosure. These guys cashed out. These guys cashed out big time. XRP Las Vegas. I found me a jar of the Bitcoin Maxi Tiers right here. There we are. A nice jar of the Bitcoin Maxi Tiers. And I already put out the tweet. I don't know who made that, but I need to order a case of that. I'm going to need to order the, like, I'm not joking. Like, I want that. I want that up on my shelf. I want the Bitcoin Maxi Tiers up on my shelf. So whoever made the Bitcoin Maxi Tiers jars, hit me up. You got an order here. We need to fill that up. Going back through the notes. Okay. Let's circle back to the top here. I think that was everything that we had on the notes. Here's one final thing. Uber CEO says the company is considering using stablecoins to lower cost. They're all coming. It's all here. Okay. Let's go rapid fire Q&A. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for stopping by. That one guy, Brian Armstrong, has the, oh boy, oh, that one guy, oh boy. These crypto guys, yeah, Brian Armstrong, wow. I can't repeat that. But yes. All right. Are we lagging? Are we getting hacked right now? You guys might have to refresh. I don't know. We might be under attack. Let's go rapid fire. Rapid fire, how we doing? When will you be rich AF? Well, I believe that we already are in spirit. I think that many of us already have considerable wealth in the XRP family. But together we got a lot more coming our way, and we need to prepare ourselves accordingly for that. Any reasons for the dip? Well, we're at war. President Trump and Elon, and Russia is striking Ukraine as we speak. I saw that the Root Network token did pump. I'm not sure where that one's at right now. Let's take a look. What happened with Root? Oh, it came back down, didn't it? Oh boy. Good thing. I was about to buy in on this one. Yeah, I was about to move on this one. Good thing I didn't. Came back down here. Basically went up to a penny, and then now it's all the way down here below half a penny. And see, this is why I said, guys, watch out for these big psychological numbers like on Zbec. My targets were half a penny to a penny. One, that's where my fib went. I'll pull up the Zbec chart right now to show you exactly what I'm talking about. It's where my fib went, but it also was close to big psychological levels. When you combine that, you know that you're probably going to see some resistance there. And that's exactly what happened on Zbec here. Here's your chart. You can see that my 4.236 extension went all the way up here to this level. And this is a fib that I drew, you know, back when we did the deep dive in April. And I have these two vertical lines are marked right here. My first video, the deep dive, and the rest is history. Well, I guess we're still in this play, aren't we? Some of us. Oh, blame. Yeah. I did see. I saw Hulk at Vegas, which was pretty funny. Had a good conversation with him. But yeah, I saw that he had put out a video about Root Network yesterday. I actually saw that because I had some people in my comments on Twitter. There was like, "Yo, what's up with Root Network?" Hulk just mentioned it or something like that. And so I looked at the hashtag, you know, the money sign Root on Twitter, and I was looking through the top posts, and I was like, "Oh wow, these guys are pumping it up." And then I saw Hulk's video, and so I said, "Okay, let's see what he had to say about it." I didn't really make it. I only watched a few minutes, but I saw kind of where he was going with it. And yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm gonna sit this one out. Hi Zach. Any other tips besides Joey? Well, isn't it addicting, huh? And I feel it too. I want to give you guys the next play, right? I want to give you the next alpha. The Zbec one was fun because pretty much everybody made money. Pretty much everybody played it good. But so right now I'm watching. I'm being very picky on the XRP memes. The thing that you have to understand with the XRP memes right now is that any older projects that came out in October, November, December, if they're in the top, 10, 20 projects, yes, they're holding up there very well, but there's also a lot of bag holders. And they're going to be looking to offload as that goes back up to, even recapturing half of the previous all-time high on some of these. Some of these meme coins are not going to retrace to new all-time highs, even though a lot of people are selling that narrative with their meme coin. And so I'm being very picky about the memes. And once again, it's very difficult to put out a play and have everybody make money and everybody wins and everybody's happy. It almost never works out like that. So I got to be very strategic in how I do so. And I always could do so with an effort of transparency, just like I did with Zbec. Hey guys, I just bought this today. Here's where I see it's going. I'm going to do a deep dive. The very day that I bought it, right? So explain today's bomb. The bill is now going to be scrutinized like never before. The big, beautiful bill. And the list will be released. People are going to be demanding. I wouldn't be surprised to see an impeachment get filed here soon. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that again. And this volatility, right, is going to squeeze these markets big time. Very fragile markets right now. Who's saying that we're not in a bull run? You have to understand the context behind what we're talking about. We're talking about cryptos. And so when an asset pumps 600% and retraces by 30%, yeah, technically you're in a bear market in the traditional stock world. A 20% move either way is a bull market or a bear market. In crypto, you do 200% in a day. And so it's all relative. You got to ask the question, compared to what? Are we in a bear market compared to, the traditional definition of what a bear market is, falling 20%? Yes. Are we in, is there no bull run? Is the bull run over? Should I just be sad about crypto because it's all over, it's all done because we pull back 30%? No, you'd be foolish to do so. We have a lot to catch up on, and the thing is, our community, I think, is very well prepared. It's almost a thankless cause trying to help some of the newcomers that just don't even want to hear it. Right? They've already predetermined that XRP is not having a bull run just because they're looking at the last month. They're looking at the daily chart. They're looking at the 5-minute chart. They're looking at since they bought in January, February. There's nothing that has invalidated XRP going to double digits, and just that move to $10 in and of itself is a massive opportunity that completely destroys the returns of every other major crypto this bull run. And this is why I said you got to contextualize it. We are still up 300% since the election. Because I know a lot of people need a picture drawn for them. So let's draw everybody that picture. Okay? Oh my goodness. I underestimated the little Bitcoin. It did a little bit better here now, right? Because it went up to a new all-time high. So a full swing of 65% for Bitcoin. Up to 112,000. Yay! 65%. How lovely. What did XRP do? Well, you guys already know because we've measured it out. It's essentially 600%, 589%. Well over 550%, right? I don't have an exact measurement here, but you get the picture, do you? Right? Once again, 65% swing since the election. For XRP, it's 560. It's basically 589%. I got the exact measurement and it was like 588, and I just rounded up to 589 for the Riddlers. Shout out to the Riddlers. Ethereum, 72% was the swing that Ethereum had since the election. Now, since the election, see, I was being generous. Ethereum, when I took this measurement right here, 9%, this is the last time that I did this, which was like a week ago, right before XRP Las Vegas, maybe a week or two before XRP Las Vegas. I took this measurement and I said, guys, since the election, Ethereum, it swung 70%, but it's only up 10% from where it was at election day. Now I measure, we are only up 2.5% since the election. Right? We got to draw this picture with crayons. I mean, seriously. Since election day, Ethereum's up 2.5%. XRP, yes, it did a full swing of almost 600%, but where are we at right now? We're right here at 313%. Less than 3% for Ethereum, 300% for XRP. You combine the gains of Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, and I think even BNB. Do I have the BNB chart? I don't even really spend much time looking at BNB. I don't even have the chart. I think that if you added BNB too, all of those combined, XRP's outperformed. It's not even close. And when you look at what happens the rest of this bull run, right? Even if Bitcoin goes up to 150 or 200, congratulations. You still haven't caught up to XRP, even if XRP stayed flat. If XRP does go up, even just to $10, it is not even close. And even if you're only able to get and take your profit at $6, $7, $8, $9 XRP still, for those of us that picked up bags at 50 cents. And we're talking about short term. I'm not talking about long term for XRP. I'm not talking about silly stuff, silly numbers for XRP, which I don't even think are that silly, but I mostly just joke about it now. $100 or $1,000 XRP. I don't really spend too much time on that. You know, let's break $10 first. But, you know, I don't mind talking about $1,000 XRP too. Now, we got, is everybody back in the chat? Is everybody back in the chat? Did everybody refresh with audio? Glitching the Matrix, thank you. Yes. Yes, Axelar, building out the bridges, thank you for that. Yeah, I am bullish on what they're doing. I haven't deep dived their token and the tokenomics, the team. I really like what they're building out and what it's going to do for the XRP ledger. I don't own the token and I need to do a deep dive on it. So I'll follow up with you on AXL. Yeah. Adam Bomb Edit, thank you for the 5 spot. Zbec pulled back a mighty bit the last 2 days. Do you see it breaking trends or continuing to slope? So somebody asked me in the Discord group today if I was going to buy back in on Zbec and where I could see it going. And I said, I'm still up in the air on whether or not I want to pick up another bag of Zbec, but I'd be looking for it to go down to 1/4 cent to 0.003. So basically 0.0025 to 0.003 is the level that I want to see for Zbec. I'll show you guys that on the chart so you can see what I'm talking about. It's back to this level right here. You know, and basically you can see it's right between these fibs. This fib level right here, this 1618, this 1414, right in there, you know, just shy, not quite breaking down to 1/4 cent, but getting close to it. That's where I might look to get in again, but we also could not even get close to that. Like, we have not broken down below this support that we have here. We did come back and catch support here right below 0.004. So we've tapped that level a couple times. We didn't go set a lower low, you know, compared to this. So Zbec's structure still appears pretty strong. Yeah, I'm looking, seeing if there's anything breaking right now. It looks like no new news from Elon or Trump. No new tweets. There was absolutely nothing wrong with your audio, bro. Yeah, you never know. You never know if it's me, if it's you. Refresh it. Caleb and Brown giving us the update on some altcoins that they just listed. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to have to give the guys crap about this. I'm going to say, goodness gracious. I'm going to call up Jim again. I had a lot of fun with them, Jim and Jake, and great guys. They spent a lot of time with clients over the weekend. But I'm going to have to give them some crap about this. I'm going to say, you guys list whatever, huh? You guys list whatever crap, you know, shows up at the door. I'm joking. It's a joke, kind of. I don't know. We'll see. ZBCN up here, Kato, Plume. I haven't heard of any of these other tickers. FAI, is that Fetch AI? I think that's different. I don't know. I'm staying away from the AI plays, but we did get in on Zbec, that's for sure. We did get in on that. That's great. That's great to see that. Silver still moving back up too. Look at that. Up above $36. Almost up to 36 and a quarter. 36 and a quarter here. Yeah, if you're looking to check out Caleb and Brown, I have a link on down below. They'll take care of you. I talked with Jim about how they're prioritizing our community right now. He says we've never had a community response so strong to being mentioned, and that's a testament to you guys and your support for me. You guys know how I'm funded. I'm funded by you guys watching my content for free. Thank you very much. Helps when you smack it and tap it. We got XRP family merch. We have our private community, but then I have my community resources, and those affiliate links are how we support the cause out here. And the thing that the great spot that I'm in is I'm just here to find the best resources for you guys, whatever that may be. And one of my objectives to finish off the rest of 2025 is we're going to round off some other community resources that are very much needed when it comes to our wealth, when it comes to legal accounting services, estate planning. There's a few other things too that I got on my list, and we're going to put all that together for you guys because I just want to make sure that you guys have options. I explained to you guys the pros and the cons of each one of these resources that we have, whether that be an exchange and a broker, But thank you again. Thank you again, guys. You guys have been amazing. Okay. All right. I do have to run at this point, guys. Unfortunately, I wish I could go a little bit longer here tonight. I do have two. Both my children caught a little bug, so I got to go check out, make sure they're doing all right. But I appreciate everybody for stopping by here today. We're going to keep you guys up to date here. This thing's moving so quickly. I feel so locked in right now. I was talking with Wifey last night, and I said, I'm so glad, I'm so blessed to be in a spot where I can't wait to go to work tomorrow. Like, we just get back from our trip and vacation. I'm excited to go back to work. Like, just can't wait. Like a kid on Christmas to literally get back and do this every single day for you guys. And she says, babe, that's because you stay locked in. I said, oh, yes, you're right. That's why I love you. That's why you're the best partner for me. Because she allows me to stay locked in and focus for you guys. And it was so inspiring. It was so motivating to be there in Vegas, shaking your hands, giving you hugs, and just being connected with you guys at that level, face to face. And yes, it's real. What you see on the screen is what you see in person. I'm that same exact person. I'm always going to stay true to you guys. I couldn't do it without your support. I feel like our community is so prepared, and yet we still have so much more cooking. I'm so bullish on us, everybody in the XRP family. But you guys know, we don't just sit here and sit on our hands and hold our XRP. We're making some other moves too, and they're paying off big time. Shout out to Zbec and Joey and all. I went to the zoo. I saw a little baby kangaroo, a little Joey. I told Jim and Jake that I need to take the family down to Australia, the land down under, and come see what's happening down there. I appreciate you guys so much, okay? I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Everything's at ZachRector.com and also linked up down below. For those of you guys that I got to meet in Vegas, it was an absolute pleasure. Until next time, and for those of you guys that I missed, we're going to be doing this across the country. We're going to be going across the world eventually. The kiddos are a little young right now, so eventually around the world. But for now, we will be coming to your neck of woods at some point, and we will connect one day, and I can't wait to do so. All right? You guys have a fantastic night. God bless all of you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.